this is superior playing cards. Only costs 470 rupees or $6. And the speciality of this deck is its tuck case. Yup, you're probably asking why, because the tuck case looks pretty basic. But that's the thing, the speciality is not about how it looks, it's about how it is built. As reference, I own this particular deck since 2018 and still the tuck case is like this. There is no apparent damage, there is no torn apart part. The most of the cases, the damaged part are these flaps, but look at these flaps. Do they look 5 years old to you? These look as fresh as possible. And I can show you a few bicycle decks which I used to practice for this 5 years and what are their condition right now. Yup. This is a deck with an everlasting tuck case. It's made with a synthetic paper that makes it tear resistant, resilient and helps the card protect from moisture. Go to the Magic websites, they have mentioned it themselves. And if you don't believe it still, then I have the deck in front of you. See, these look as fresh as it can be. So, enough talking about the tuck case. Now let's dive into the deep review of this whole deck. So, number 1, the plastic cover that comes with this one. Yep, this plastic cover. This is 5 years old, so this is pretty standard and I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. Now the second point, the tuck case itself. Well, the tuck case is the speciality of this whole deck, so I'm going to give it a 4.25 out of 5. The bag design. As you can see, I like this kind of bag design. I'm not really obsessed with this kind of bag design, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Paper quality. Well, it's a classic finish, feels smooth, as long lasting as the tuck case because this is the 5-year-old deck itself. For card history cards, it's ideal, but once it starts degrading, there is no coming back. It becomes unusable. Now, the jokers. As you can see, the jokers are pretty cool. They are standing in a stud position and I absolutely like their design. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 only because they are not symmetrical and also they are pretty basic. I know they look cool, but that doesn't change the fact that they're basic. Now, point number 6, the aces. The aces are also pretty basic except the ace of spades. This has a little face inside it, so yep, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5 because they are pretty basic. Now, the face cards. These are the kings and they also look pretty basic except 2 of the faces are similar. At least they are symmetrical and they look as classic as it can be. So yep, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Now, number cards. Well, the number cards are pretty standard too, and except the fonts of the numbers because most of the decks have similar kind of fonts, but this one is a little bit thinner than all of the other standard fonts, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Now, handling. The cards stick together, they're fabulous for packet cuts, pharaohs averagely, but not the first choice for flourishes though, because I don't really like the finish and I don't really think that these are the ideal finish for a deck to flourish with. But yeah, they are absolutely amazing for packet cuts. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Now the last point, price. As I've already told you, only at rupees 470. This is a great to have deck and also it's nice to have a little bit of different experience rather than bicycle standards or other mainstream playing cards. So this is a fun deck to play with for your experience and you might like it because I also practiced with 3 or 4 superior decks at the time when I used to buy these, so I really liked it. So this was it. After calculating all the points, it comes down to 33.75 out of 50, which comes down to 6.75 out of 10, which is not a bad set of playing cards, but as the key factor was the tuck case because this is almost an indestructible tuck case to have because I have had a lot of playing cards but no other deck has this kind of tuck case. Even the premium ones does not provide a safe tuck case like this one. The only thing that I don't like about the tuck case is this flap. This flap keeps opening by itself and that's really annoying for me. See? Also with use, this deck keeps getting thicker and thicker and it becomes really tough to fit in all of the cards inside the tuck case because every time I've used superior playing cards, this is another problem that I've come with. These cards does not fit in properly and thus this flap keeps opening by itself, as you can see. And if you also want to have a deck with a superior tuck case, then there is a link down below in the description. You can get there, and also subscribe to this channel if you want to, because you are going to see really unique decks from now on this channel. Subscribe to Rony Saha, and goodbye.